Welcome back. We're on week 5 of Unleashed. I appreciate you guys coming in today. We got one more week left and then we're done. So I'm excited, personally excited, because I'm still freaking out on week 5. So welcome. We're at week 5. You must show your value. So as real estate agents, I know I've been saying this a lot every single week, but I think if I keep on repeating it, you guys will kind of embrace it. So you have to show your value to your clients, because if you don't, there's another agent that will. So make sure that you're doing the small little things that the other agents aren't doing, and they will continue to keep on using you and referring you. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So if you do not have a roadmap on how you're going to get to that plan, I think you're just wishing that you might get there someday. We all want to make all this money. We all want to sell 36 houses this year. We all want to do something. But unless you have the activities it's going to take to get to that plan, you most likely aren't going to accomplish it. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but it is a wish. You have to have a specific plan, specific goals in order to achieve your mission. So I liked that one a lot. It never gets easier, you just get better. So every single week I come in here and I teach this class, it doesn't get easier, and I don't think I get better, but you guys are sweet enough to lie to me and tell me that I'm doing great, so thank you. This week's video, I went between 2, and this one, I don't know, I liked it a lot and I liked the other one also, but they both have a couple choice words in it, so please forgive that. This one's a little bit nicer words between the two of them, but it's a short little clip it, and it kind of just motivated me and kept me inspired. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys don't mind, would you kill the lights?
What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough energy? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Don't have enough money? Is that the thing? Or is the thing that's stopping you, you?
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get off the pity potty. Telling everybody your sad and sob stories, trying to get people to show up to your pity potties and your pity parades. If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7 star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on. It's go season. It's time for you to take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life, you got a problem with your environment, do something about it. If you want it, go get it.
Recognize the excuses are not valid. They're conjured up, they're fabricated, they're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. And the truth is, you have time. You have the skill, you have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my God, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult.
If you want it, you gotta go get it.
This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your place. This is your opportunity.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today. It's your dream. If you wanted to have it, get your butt up and make it happen. If you wanted to have it, rise and grind.
You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. It's grind season, homie.
I like that one. This morning I was getting ready. Would you guys mind hitting the ones in the back, please? I was not getting ready. I was at the gym and I was listening to my Miracle Morning because I needed it because I had a bad day yesterday. I was on my pity potty. And I was like, I have the ability to change the quality of my life. And I have to get up and I have to change my attitude. And I got to do things differently in order to achieve what I want to. I may have a couple roadblocks during my day or my week that might take me down and make me feel bad for myself or sorry for myself. But it's up to me to keep my mindset right, to keep myself challenging myself, to move myself forward, to achieve what I want in life. So I liked that because that guy, he said, he goes, you might see me in my Rolls Royce or my 7-star hotel, but he worked his ass off to get there. So don't resent him for it. There's a lot of agents in this office that have a lot of things that they've worked their asses off for too. So you can do it. It's just a matter of how much time and energy and effort that you're willing to put into it in order to achieve those same goals. So I liked that one a lot for that reason, and I hope it didn't offend too many people. You need to set yourself apart. So in this industry, you have to do things differently than everybody else. We all can put a house in an MLS. We all can, go over there and measure a room. We all can talk the simple things in life. But unless you're willing to do some different things that the other agents are doing, you probably will just not regain their business again, make that one commission, and then move on to the next one that you might make some money off of as well. So Corey Cutchell let me steal this piece of information from him. He does this when he's listing a house or doing open houses. Thank you, Kate. So he goes to the neighborhoods and delivers a little note with cookies, or on the back of his, usually it's like a discount coupon for someone that he knows that owns a restaurant. He goes over there and he asks for permission to put the sign in the yard, whether it be for open house or for a listing. Agents never do this. So this is something that you could do to set yourself apart. I know that Mamie Jackson and TJ Jackson will go deliver a sleeve of Eileen's cookies with a note similar to this, or a nothing but cake as well. If you ask for permission, I guarantee you 9 out of the 10, probably 9.5 out of the 10 agents aren't. So you're gonna set yourself apart that way. When people come home and see a sign in the yard, yes, it's no big deal to us, but to them it's intrusive. You enter their yard, you put something on their property, and some people really do get pissed off about it. I had a guy that called me out of Country Club on one of our agents, and he said it was uglifying the neighborhood, and it was up to him as a community person to take them off. And I was like, okay, thank you very much, sir. I told the agent, don't waste your money because he's gonna keep on stealing your signs. But this I enjoyed, and Corey let me steal it from him. I had so much in this week's that I'm going to include a copy of this. It's not a great copy in next week's handouts for you as well. So I know I've been telling you guys I was going to email you stuff, but Brooke sent me a list of all your names and some of the email addresses, so I've got to go through and actually type them all out myself. Lisa was kind enough to share me her videos, so if you want them instantly, let me know and I'll shoot them right back to you, but it's going to take me a little while to input everyone's name from the class and start sending out stuff to you. So I haven't forgotten about you, I just haven't had time to create a new list for this class. But 7 ways to set yourself apart in real estate. Be courageous, be a leader, grow thick skin, be true to who you are, stop beating around the bush, be a believer, and let every experience be a lesson. Even if some of our experiences aren't great lessons, or some of our lessons aren't great experiences, you have to learn from it. I did a deal once for a friend of mine's aunt, and I went over there and I showed her how to stage it and picked out the paint colors and the carpet colors and, did all these wonderful things for this woman, and all of a sudden, it's listed by somebody else, and she's like, I really liked you a lot, but this other guy was cheaper. And I was completely dumbfounded by this woman, and I let her piss me off for about a day, which I shouldn't have given her that much control over me, but it gave me thicker skin to realize that maybe sometimes we give out too much before we actually get a commitment. So before you go and start giving out paint colors and staging advice, maybe have them sign a coming soon or a pocket listing to make sure that we're not going to get cut out of the deal and they're going to give it to somebody else. So it was a learning lesson for me that, maybe I was too kind in giving her my information for free, and next time I would have her sign some type of commitment with me in order to get my tools that I gave her that nobody else would for free. So I liked that. Nosy neighbor open houses. So some of you that recently joined us, this is something that Vince has helped trademark for our company. It's a nosy neighbor open house, and I've got a couple guys that do it really, really well. Jay Brown and Mike Evans. He's actually taught a couple classes for my mastermind. So what they do is they go around the neighborhood about a week before the nosy neighbor open house. I'll show you guys a copy. I think there's a copy of the flyer in your handouts this week. But what they do is they walk the neighborhood. They either that or mail out a circular to the neighborhood and let them know they're doing a nosy neighbor open house. They invite all the neighbors to come to the open house the day before it goes live on the MLS, and they let them come in and take a peek, because typically our first people coming through an open house are the nosy neighbors. So let's invite the neighbors and enjoy them, or let them come and enjoy their time snooping around. So then what they do is they say, hey, we know you're not looking to sell right now or buy this house, but in the future, if you're not working with a real estate agent, is there something that you are going to use? And if they say no, somehow they win a bottle of wine, or they come over and they do a free CMA. And what these two have done is they have learned, or they've actually earned the respect of the neighborhood, and have now earned like that neighborhood's business, because they know that they are the market experts in that area. So they're doing these nosy neighbors, and they're getting the people there that keep on seeing them come and do these nosy neighbor open houses. They're walking the neighborhoods. So they're becoming that market expert in that area. So we have all this propaganda downstairs in the admin office. They also hang a bag on the door when they're walking it around saying, hey, here's a flyer, and it says we're giving out free Eileen's cookies, some wine, gift cards, whatever, inviting all the neighbors. So they have their face present in that neighborhood every single time they're doing a listing. So this is something different that nobody else is doing, and like I said, it's trademarked to Berkshire Hathaway. Extra touches to set yourself apart from the other agents. Make yourself available. So I had a lady that had presented for me last year, and she said that, you know, the guy made a comment about, maybe he left her a voicemail. Maybe if you would have answered my call, you would have got my business, and it was a friend of hers giving her a hard time. But a lot of us as real estate agents, if we see a number that we don't know, we don't answer it. If it's from California or, you know, some crazy number, well, unfortunately, this guy was calling from a different state. She didn't answer the phone, and she got kind of a snarky message, but he was being funny because she knew him. But a lot of times, we don't make ourselves as available as we should. We're always too busy. We need to go the extra mile. Ask them how they'd like to communicate. So this is a big one now, especially with millennials and different age groups that are buying and selling. Maybe as their agent, you need to ask them, what's the best way for me to communicate with you? Via text, phone, email? You know, get to know your clients and know exactly how the best way of communication is going to be for them. So if they don't like to text and you're texting them, you could be putting them off from the very get-go. If they're a millennial and they don't want to answer your phone call and they're going to send you straight to voicemail, know that you need to text them. So that's a great way and a great little tidbit that I got from one of our conventions a couple years ago. When you're going through their house and meeting them for a listing appointment, ask them what they love about their home. What was it that they loved when they bought it? And maybe what is it that they hate about their house? Because those are the things that you can actually use as selling points when you're writing up your description for the house in the MLS. If they say, we love our flower bed or the open entrance, use those words also in the description, because then they feel like they helped you write some information about their house, and they had a piece of it too. If there's things that they hate, well, you know, I hate the fact that it's really, you know, right next to a busy street. Well, unfortunately, that might be a turnoff for some other buyers as well. So that way you know that you've already addressed that issue with them, and it's going to come up during most conversations. So it kind of works both ways, which is nice. Offer professional staging. So we get paid a lot of money to do this job. And I think a lot of times when I see an agent who's taken photos with a flip phone or a camera phone, and I see like toilet lids up or something really poorly done, I'm like, you got paid 6% commission to do that. And it does give us a bad name. So I think you need to do something to make yourself earn your value. So I think professional staging, professional photography are two easy ways that you can increase your commission value, because agents that are charging 4 or 5% at different companies aren't doing these things. And if you do these things, a lot of times you don't even have to fight for your commission value. They understand why you're charging them 6, 7%, because you're giving them a value. And most likely you're going to get them more money that's going to pay for the difference in that commission. So I know a staged home and professional photos typically get a higher dollar sales price if it's done right than a house that just has some quick photos from an iPhone. So include the children in this difficult transaction. It's difficult for the kids in this situation. They're moving. Sometimes they're getting uprooted. So in your packet, I had gotten a kids listing agreement from the Berkshire Hathaway convention a couple years. Include them in it. It says, you know, make sure you make your bed before, you know, we have showings. Have everything picked up. And at the end of it, they have to sign that. So bring some crayons and have them sign their listing agreement. You know, at the end of it, by chance, you know, when you get it sold, say if you do all these things and we get your house successfully sold, give them a $25 Toys R Us, well, it's not there anymore, but Target gift card, so they can go buy a toy for themselves, or, you know, like a Chuck E. Cheese or, you know, Amazing Pizza Machine. Include them in the process, and they're going to be more apt to help and make the process easier. Plus, then they feel included too. So get to know your client. In my packet, I gave you a seller questionnaire and a buyer questionnaire, one for an individual buyer and one for a buyer with a family. So you get to know like their favorite food, their favorite drinks, their favorite places to go, their songs. And if you have all that stuff filled out from your first initial meeting, you can put that in your database. And then when you close, you know, hey, this family's favorite restaurant's this, I'm gonna get them a gift card for there. Or hey, here's their birthdays, or here's the name of their kids, because a lot of times, if I'm out showing somebody how for the first time because a friend referred to me, I'm trying to jot down their kids' names because I suck at names. You know, I'm like, oh my God, what was their name again? So that's the first thing I do is jot down the kids' names. But now you have their birthdays too, so if you wanted to, you could drop off a little cupcake for their birthday and just make sure that, you know, you have a reason to have another pop-by for that family. Keep yourself in front of them. And then just staying in touch with your past clients. So right now, I know a lot of people are doing pie giveaways. I had a lender from First National Bank reach out to me yesterday saying, hey, if you want to do pop-bys, I'm subsidizing some of the cost of my pies from Village. They do a little pop-by note for me. I pay $7 a pie. I can pick from between like 4 different pies. She delivers them for me to the office, and then I hand them out to my clients. But, you know, you can go to Costco, Sam's. I know a few bakeries that will cut you a deal as well. This is a perfect time to stay in touch with your people with something as simple as dropping off of a pie, saying thank you for your business. So just some extra touches that will keep you in the forefront. So here's 10 keys to unleashing your potential. And when Gino came through last year at our explosion event, he had made mention of these 10 things that he loves. And so to unleash your potential, he says, love what you do. And I think that's important. If you don't love what you do, it's kind of hard to be completely successful in it because this job can drag you down a little bit. I think you need to get your mindset right every morning and make sure that you do love what you do. To develop and maintain a physical fitness, I think keeping yourself healthy, even if it's getting up and walking 10 minutes, or I've got an agent here that gets up and stretches for 45 in the morning. I think it gets your mind right, it sets your day at the right pace, and it will keep you working harder and stronger and focused for your rest of your day. You need to think big. I think that's something that Berkshire Hathaway has done for me. I was at another company for a long time, and when I got here, all of a sudden my mindset changed. And a friend of mine that was here said, you have more fire in your belly now than I've ever seen in you. So I think when you're surrounded by people that don't see, you know, a level of what they can hit, they just keep on moving up and going to the top, and you're like, okay, I can do that too. So I think you need to think big, set big goals for yourself. Really think that you can achieve it, because if you believe it, you can get there. You're going to have roadblocks in the way that are going to take you down, they're going to make you stumble, but if you truly believe that you can get to that point, you'll get there. Think strategically. So you have to have, like I said, a roadmap, some ideas on how you're going to get to your final end. But I think you need to be strategic in your planning, like, you know, Dave does. He does a bunch of phone calls. He does, you know, expired for sale by owners, cancels. You need to have that in your mind. You need to be focused. So while you're doing those tasks, you have to make sure nothing else is going to get in your way. The time blocking is really great for that part of it all. Be prepared. So if you know your time block from 9 to 10 to make phone calls, know who you're calling that day. Is it going to be your warm calls, your cold calls, your for sale by owner calls? Are you doing handwritten notes? Know what you're going to do at that time so you're not sitting around stumbling, figuring out what your activities are for that day. Provide a passionate service. I'm passionate about everything, almost too much. I have way too much passion in me, but my husband calls it emotion. I think it's passion. But that I think is really important, because if you just kind of go through the motions and you're just kind of cold, people are going to feel that too. So accept and manage conflict. Don't let it ruin you. Sometimes we're just the messenger. Sometimes we can't change anything, and we're just a person communicating one thing to another. So don't get your egos in the way. Don't get all fired up, because sometimes it's not anything that we've done or anything that we can do. We're just a person that's delivering the message. So make sure if you're working with a buyer or seller, don't let our personal input affect what could possibly cause or like damage a deal. I see that happening a lot. With transactions, sometimes the agents think they can save it by getting in and tweaking some things. And I'm like, well, what does your buyer want? Or what does your seller want? Would they take that? Ask them. And a lot of times that will be the case, and they'll get the deal closed because they've kind of stepped away from it. Invest in your career. So I think this is a big one, and it goes back to the staging and the photography. I think sometimes you have to spend money in this business to make money. Giving out gifts, doing out gift cards, spending money on like pop buys. Professional staging isn't super cheap, but you know, a lot of times you get your money back in a twice-fold, and then you can get higher commissions too. And then being persistent. You have to keep on asking for the business. If you don't keep on asking for it, they're not going to remember you. So, I know you do before you close asking for referrals, after you close asking for referrals, but don't forget maybe 4 times a year giving them a call and asking them if they know anyone looking to buy or sell right now. If you're not persistent and consistent with it, they're going to keep on forgetting who you are. I mean, it's hard to keep forefront in someone's mind when you're not visible at all. And I liked those. Gina's a pretty cool guy. So best practices from top producing agents. These are things that I've stolen also from conventions, explosions, and some of my other classes. But mornings are the key to success. I think if you wake up early, that you can set your day right. This one I think I got from Shelley Klimke, knowing your why and setting your family's expectations and getting them on board. So if you do have a family or someone that you're taking time out of their day in order to achieve your dream, I think you need to explain to them why you're doing it and what the end result can be for them. So she uses hers every time she sells a house, she makes $100. And that $100 can go towards maybe a trip that they're going to do or a present that they want. So she gets her family on board that way, which I really loved that analogy, and it's hit home with me. Focus on the things that bring you income. So sitting on Facebook, if you're not actually posting live videos, if you're not actually doing something that's business related, it's not going to bring you income, just so you know. Liking someone's picture is not going to bring you income. But if you picked up a pen and wrote a handwritten note saying, hey, I saw you got a great new job and your haircut's beautiful because they, just cut their hair, sending a note based off of being on Facebook, now that's productive. So that might bring you money at some point. Do client appreciation parties with other agents to keep it simple. So I don't think anybody else has embraced this quite as well as Berkshire Hathaway has. So we have actual masterminds that do client appreciation parties together, or agents that will go in together and do a client appreciation party, because it's easier to plan with more than one person than just to do it by yourself. And so how many people actually invite their clients to somebody else's client appreciation party typically in this area? None. But the whole thing is that we want to embrace everybody and help everybody and encourage them. And so they invite their clients to these appreciation parties and they talk to their clients only, and everyone has a great time and they don't worry about the things like that. So it does make it easier if you've got a partner in crime to do these things with and you're not sitting there struggling all by yourself. And then sitting open houses for top producing agents. If you don't have a listing, ask somebody, can I sit in your open house for you or your listing for you? Because you know what? Some of these top producing agents don't want to sit in these open houses. I had an agent this last year that says, my goal this year is to never sit in an open house again. And she has a ton of listings. So as soon as I have a new agent that joins the company, I'm like, do you want an open house? And I'm always trying to feed them into her open houses because first off, I know that she'll take care of them. And second off, it helps my new agents out that are struggling that need to find a house to sit in. So if you ever need one, let me know. I can try and help you find one. But if you're not doing them for somebody else and you're not doing your own, you should be, because they are a great source of business. The past cannot be changed, but the future is yet in your power. So this one is pretty much just it says everything that I wanted to say, but I can't change my past, and I have a very colorful one of those, but the future is still in my power, so I can make it to be whatever I want. And I have chosen to make my future way more, powerful than my past was. So I'm excited to see what I can achieve in the next 5 or 10 years. I'm excited to see if I can actually get to my goals, because I have my goals that are pretty strong. And I think if you have determination, you can achieve any future that you want. So mistakes are proofs that you're trying. So sometimes we make mistakes and we suck, and then you have to look back and be like, but I wouldn't have known that I sucked at that unless I would have tried. So as long as you're trying and making mistakes, you're going to learn from them and you're going to be able to perfect it and do better the next time. So I think this is pretty important to know that mistakes are okay. You're going to learn from it, and maybe next time you'll just do better from it. So the tech tool of the day. Miss Tabitha is here to talk about best apps used in the business. So while she's making her way up here, I had Brian Case offer to come in next week and teach us the HomeSnap app for everybody. So I think he's going to be doing a Facebook Live this week explaining that you should probably get on your phone and download the app. And then he'll do a quick snippet if you're not using HomeSnap. Next week he'll show you how to use it and some of the great qualities that it has as well. So thank you.
That was one I was going to cover this morning, so I'm glad that Brian is going to go into thorough. But you do have to go and register for that. You need to be, I'm pretty sure you have to be licensed in order to use it, right? So when you go to register, just put in your license number. Sorry? For the pro side. Put in your license number. And then it will, you'll automatically pull up. You'll be there.
What I'm gonna do is put it on the BHS agents site, Facebook site,
Oh, yeah.
the tutorial on how to set up your home site.
Perfect.
And just
Even better. Thank you, Brian. Perfect.
Okay, so today is about technology and applications. There are a lot of apps that we use that are actually going to help streamline your day-to-day. I'm just going to talk to you about a few of them. And then I'm going to show you something really cool. It's an application as well. It just happens to go through our website. Perfect. And then I'm going to show you how to use something to streamline your buying process. Okay, one application is, there's one called Property Evaluator. And let me get to it. It's called Property Evaluator. So if you go to your app store and download that, that's more for investments. So if you are someone who's looking to assess and evaluate an investment property, it helps kind of narrow down if that's something that you're going to be interested in. CSS, obviously, if you guys use centralized showing system, that is a great one to use. We have CSS here, $25 per month for unlimited listings. And if you have it from your phone, then you can just go ahead and book and schedule and do everything from your app. It's really, really fast. There's an app called Magic Plan here. I'll show you what that one looks like because it's very beneficial. Okay, it looks just like that. Little blue box with an M inside of it, if you can see that. So what Magic Plan is if you're ever in a pinch and you're inside of a home, a listing, buyer presentation, they're asking how large a room is or something. With Magic Plan, you can turn that on and let it calibrate at your feet for just a moment. Then you can walk to every corner of the room and it actually measures everything for you based on how it lines up for you. It's super simple too. It basically gives you a T so you can take it exactly to the corner. And then if it's set there in the corner, which is just from a line, if it's stable there, then you hit yes, I like that. And then I'm gonna go to the very other end of the corner and then it measures everything for you, including area for the entire room. So that's a pretty cool little app if you're ever, like I said, if you're ever in a pinch, or I think it would be a bit time consuming to have to do that for every one of the rooms, but it's super accurate. We even tested it with one of those laser in one of our training rooms and it works very, very well. Magic Plan. Okay, another one that people are kind of terrified right now to use is Instagram. Instagram is so easy to use. And you don't have to overcomplicate it by any means. So download the application, register just like you would anything else. What Instagram does is you're going to get an account. On the front of that account, you're going to have, sorry, these are applications. It's hard to, you have to actually go and take a look at them. With Instagram, on your front page there, once you have an account, you hit a plus button, which means I want to add a photo. So say for instance, you're in a home and you click on Instagram and then you take a photo, or maybe there's a photo in your library. Take the photo, you can edit it there if you want to. You post it and then you start adding your hashtags or something about that home. It's literally that simple. You take a photo, add the photo, edit it if you choose to, and then add some words to it. So Instagram is something that we should probably all be using because Facebook is great, but a lot of newer generations are using Instagram more than absolutely anything. Hashtags are pretty simple. I know that it's kind of a foreign name sometimes, but hashtags, just think about putting yourself, it's getting your conversation in the conversation with others. So if I have a listing, and on my listing, I'm like hashtag military because I focus on the base. Hashtag military for this listing. Hashtag off at Air Force Base. And then I do a hashtag baby goats. It puts me in the conversation of people with baby goats, and my listing can appear there. So just kind of keep that as broad as, not as broad, keep it generalized, but don't forget to do things like off at Air Force Base or something, even something like Go Huskers, because a lot of people are doing the hashtag Go Huskers. Just kind of put your conversation in other people's conversation as well. That's what hashtagging is.
Hey, can I ask, is there a site or an app that shows the best hashtags or the ones that are getting the most traffic right now?
There's probably some Google statistics. I'll look for that.
Okay.
And if so, I'm sure there's some sort of statistics for real estate agents that has, yeah. Another one, I think you always need a mortgage calculator, even if it's just a very, very limited estimate. have a mortgage calculator. The one that I like the best is actually called Mortgage, and it looks kind of like a calculator, and it's called Mortgage. It seems to be super, super user-friendly. Another thing that's super helpful to me is a compass. I know I'm kind of directionally illiterate sometimes, and when I have a compass and Scott will say something like the northwest corner of so-and-so, I'm like, okay, which side is that? Sorry, I don't know. My husband can be in the middle of a room, in a dark room in the basement, and still tell you which way is north, south, east. I hate that. Okay, so compass has always been helpful to me.
Which compass app do you use?
I actually have two on here. Yeah, I have. I'm like, this one's obviously not right. Yeah, I have two compass apps. So just go to your app store and type in compass, and they'll all work relatively the same. I know that's so stupid of me. I can't help it. My husband would laugh if I told everybody that, but oh well. Another calendar that I absolutely love, because I have the worst problem with putting things in my calendar. Like I'll write it down on a piece of paper, and then I might actually put something in my phone, and then I might actually put something on the computer, but it never really goes in the same place like it should. I should be way more organized. But this calendar is called Fantastical, and I can be driving down the road, and I can talk into my calendar. Don't forget, I have an appointment with Vince next week at 2:30 on Wednesday, talking about bananas, whatever. And then it takes my words and it pops it into the calendar exactly like I've said, and just throws an event in there. I can literally just talk text it rather than having to add this time, this location, and all of that. So I can appreciate that one. Another really great app for you right now is called Expensify. I don't think there's another app. I mean, there are lots of other apps like this one, but Expensify is pretty well renowned. So Expensify, you have to go, and I would just get the free version. It works just fine. Register for that. What it's going to do is it's going to track all of your purchases, including your travel trips or your like out-of-state travel trips via airplane or whatever, as well as your commute. So you can turn on your GPS, and it's gonna start logging your commutes and your showings and that sort of thing. But then you can also enter your receipts by hand, or you can actually hover above the receipts, and it will automatically pull those in. And then you can, at the end of the week, if you want to print a report or send those to your CPA at the end of the year, it's all ready to go for you. So again, it tracks your GPS, your mileage. So it's like MileIQ, only on steroids. So it tracks your mileage, any trips that you're taking, and your commute time. Super, super simple. Scannable and dot loop. So obviously we all need dot loop on our phones. Please get dot loop on your phone. It will save your life at some point or another when you're out of town and you have to do a deal and pull over at a gas station on your way to Ponca Hills, and you will write an agreement from your phone. Trust me, you'll go to a gas station, do whatever, but it's a lifesaver that you can do everything from your phone if you have to. One thing I have a little bit of trouble with dot loop is if I have a handwritten document and I have to scan the document, it's a little finicky. So I download the Scannable app, and it's a blue app with like a little butterfly in the middle. It's called Scannable, and you can hover over any document and it will automatically turn it into a PDF file, because you can't upload anything but a PDF file inside of dot loop. So if you get your dot loop app to work as far as taking the photo, that's totally fine. But Scannable for me seems to be the one that works the best. And so when you hover above, it just says, hey, do you want to put this in do you want to email it to yourself? It will actually even let you send it over to dot loop as well. Right. So a lot of times we have a buyer or a set of buyers, and they give us 15 different houses that we have to look at, and then we have to go out to Google and we try to map the route, and we're wondering, we have a trip over here, and we're wondering what's the best route to take at which time. So Boston Logic has actually streamlined this process for you. So you have to be logged into your website. If you chose not to have a website, you have to go to the Berkshire Hathaway website, which is BHHSAMB.com. If you do have a website, it's your first name, last name, .BHHS.com. BHHSAMB.com. So when you're there, you're in essentially the back end, the dashboard. You're going to have to go to property and then do a sales search, because I have to search for whatever's for sale. Let it do its thing. Okay. So now I'm actually going to, this works best when you type in the MLS number. So I can start, so obviously I've spoken to my buyers already. They have 15 homes that I want to see. I've narrowed it down by their MLS number. So does anybody have an MLS number memorized? Okay. Yesterday I had tons of people that knew. 966. Okay, perfect. So there's a home, and if I have 15 others, actually let me see if I can get some more in there. You know what? I'm gonna pretend like I just put in a bunch of MLS numbers up there, right? So when you do that, typically it works flawlessly. I don't know what's going on right now. That's okay. So I'm going to pretend like these are the ones that I just entered in as far as MLS numbers because I have that list beside me. So when I find the houses that I actually want to add to my showing sheet, I just click the little box in the upper left-hand corner of all the ones that I want to add to my showing sheet. Like, yes, I like all of these. So now I'm going to add those to my showing sheet. And then I can go down here at the bottom, if you can see that, and add a sheet title. So Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. If there's a lead in my system, I can associate them with a lead and then put it on a day. This is not necessary, but I always do this. Lady with the peg leg. Don't forget to call her that.
What if she doesn't have a peg leg?
And then save it. For a while. So then I'm going to, so now it's taking me to my showing sheet. Now I'm actually going to scroll down after I get these on my showing sheet, and I'm going to enter my start, the start of where I'm starting from or where the buyers are starting from. So we've got a start point and an ending point in there, and we're going to tell it to map the route. When you do that, it's going to give a nice pretty map of where it needs to go, where you're starting based on your starting point. You have to just select the optimize the route for driving. And then when you scroll to the bottom, you can simply add their email address, and then it sends them an email right there. So that is all. Any questions? That one is actually called your showing sheets. So you have to log in through our personalized website. Practice it. I promise if you do it right now from your computer, it will work just fine. So go in there, property, do a sales search, type in the MLS numbers of all the ones that you're looking for. It is kind of finicky when you put in addresses, unless you use the entire address, but if you put in the MLS number, it works every single time. Scroll down, add a little verbiage if you want to, like put who it's for and the date that you're going. Optimize the route for driving, put in your start and your ending, and then have it map the route.
So that you are the market expert. Any agent recognition. So if you just got recognized for like being top agent, top sales, new agent, something, post it on your site and let people know that you got recognized for something. Real estate related articles. So a lot of you may or may not know about this, but on the Berkshire Hathaway resource page, there is a social media link that you can click on. If you haven't done this already, do it. It's free, and it will send you free articles that once you link up your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, whatever, you can click on a button and it will automatically post to those sites for you, and it will give you good ideas like, trendy colors for the season or how to organize your closets. There are articles already related to real estate that come to your email every single day that are free, that all you got to do is click on a button and it will automatically go to your Facebook page, LinkedIn page, or Twitter page for you. There's no reason why you can't be posting something because it seriously takes 2 seconds. You just have to decide which article you like. Now, I think if you do something like that every day, people get to the point where they start kind of ignoring it. So I think you need to be sporadic when you're doing it, but make sure that you're posting something like that to your pages. Facebook Live videos. So a lot of you guys did these for your Jamboree the other day, and I think it's awesome. I hate video, I hate photos, but I tell you to do it. I just don't do it. So I think these are great, and I think you need to keep them short because most of our attention span is like less than probably a minute, minute and a half. So I think if you can keep them short, keep them sweet, and give them some type of information, that you're going to be able to capture their attention. And the reviews that you get, if you get reviews on Zillow, if you get reviews on a handwritten note, type them up and put their name with the last initial. But make sure people know what you guys are getting recognized for, because people love working with you. If you're not getting reviews, ask for them. Send them the link for Zillow to give you a review. And once they do it, send them a gift card, or send them a gift card saying, hey, once you've asked them for a review, send them a thank you card with like a Starbucks card, and then they feel kind of obligated because they're going to spend your coffee card, but they haven't given you a review yet, so they'll feel bad and do it for you anyways. So just little things that you can do in order to keep it forefront of your people. Affirmations. I wasn't going to make you do it this week, but I'll save that for next week. So I'm going to make you guys stand up and do your affirmations this week. I know, I suck. So we're going to start with the first one. I am grateful that my life is so happy and successful. My desires are fueled by my unlimited belief in myself. Today I face everything with great courage. I believe in myself and my abilities to succeed, and I am incredibly successful. Yes. Thank you, everybody. All right, so we're not taking a break. We're going to bypass that one. And then today, if you guys wouldn't mind helping me welcome our guest, Dianne Hughes. I have watched Dianne since I've been here for like the last 2 years, and I love her style. So I hope you guys enjoy her presentation as much as I've enjoyed getting to know her and her business. So thank you, Dianne. We got to get you mic'd up, so let you drop your stuff.
Okay, I'm Dianne Hughes. I see a lot of faces I don't know. So first of all, congratulations showing up. I'm not a morning person, and I think the fact that you guys have done this every week is admirable for sure. My background is the first half of my life, which is a lot of years because I'm kind of old. I was in commercial real estate. I used to run malls for a living, and it was an awesome field. I got to travel all over the U.S., learned to speak Spanish, got to go to Mexico 6 or 7 times a year for a mall I ran in San Antonio. And then I had a life-changing surgery. I had my spine reconstructed, and I had a pulmonary embolism and almost died, and I was actually disabled for a few years. And that was probably a darkest part for me because I'm kind of a workaholic, and I couldn't stand not working. A couple agents that were here, I used them to sell my house, and they kept convincing me, you could do this. And so I thought, you know what, I can do this. And I did. So 6.5 years ago, I got my license. My first 6 months, I think I did like 2-point-some million. My first full year was 8, then 10, then 12, then 14. This year, I'm at 20 million. And I personally can't believe it. So it's just, I think you've got to go with your gut and go with your passion. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what comes up in your life, I really, truly feel so strongly about this. This is a great, great career. I have sold houses sitting in bed with ice on my neck or my back. So you can work around anything, no matter what's going on in your life. And we all have those things that come up that just feel sometimes like they're going to take us down, or we lose our energy and we feel like, I can't do this anymore. I just wanted to start off with that. It tells you where I'm from, what I'm about. I never thought I would love a job as much as the ones I had before, like when I was in San Antonio. But I was born and raised here, and this also gave me the opportunity to come back to my hometown, which I love immensely, and all my family is here. So that being said, one of the things that I've noticed just in taking notes, just when I started. I remember when I first started, I would see people in their office, and they'd be there at 8 o'clock sharp, and they'd leave at 5, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm rolling in at 9:30, you know? Wow, they're so good. And then I realized my volume's higher than theirs, okay? So what's the difference? The good news is you don't have to be 8 to 5. You can work 10 to 7, or sometimes I work 10 to midnight. You can work around your life. My daughter's a dancer. I have never, ever missed my daughter performing a solo. I know that if I was still running malls, I would not be able to say that. But I balance it, and I think that's so key. One of the first points on the outline is that Tom Ferry says that 87% of agents fail. Coming from a world of retail, I'll tell you that strikes a similar chord. All the tenants that open in a mall of new businesses, over 90% fail. And one of the jobs I had, I did both marketing, advertising, and PR for malls, but I also did leasing and development. So I did a lot of work with the Retail Federation. We learned about the psychology of marketing and why people buy. And ironically, that's really transferred really well to the residential side. In Nebraska, this just came up the other day, and I think it was Vince that said this, but only 14% of agents earn more than $40,000 in Nebraska. That is a really humbling statistic, because $40,000, honestly, no, that's almost poverty level when you're being realistic about it, especially because we don't get health insurance. If you were in the military making $40,000, you had health insurance and housing allowance, sure, but not so much in real estate. 10% of agents are doing 90% of the business. I know Debbie DeGroat on that online webcast that I just watched this week said it used to be an 80-20, now it's more of a 90-10. And so you kind of have to ask yourself, why those 10%? Why are they getting 90% of the business? And granted, sure, a lot of it is work ethic. But one of the things, I think it was at Nationals, a couple people had touched on, is the idea that of anyone in a given room, only 27% of us have what they call a magnetic personality. And I'm sure we all like to think I have a magnetic personality. But even for me, I realize, especially when I ran malls, I have people after the fact tell me, when I first met you, I was really intimidated by you. And I'm like, me? Because I'm kind of self-disparaging and pretty much laughing a lot, Heather will tell you. But I realized that there was one thing I couldn't control, and that was my size. In San Antonio, I was 6 feet tall with shoes. You're kind of a freak, So I towered over everyone, and you just had to embrace it. And that's when I got my first license plates. My girlfriends, they used to call me, some people would say, you're an Amazon. I thought that's kind of mean. So I just turned it around and said, I'm a Glamazon. And those are my license plates to this day. And so you kind of just have to be and then I realized that, okay, so some people might see me walk into and be like, holy, and you just have to work extra hard to disarm those people, to feel a connection with them. And sometimes that might mean making fun of yourself. Do not take yourself too seriously, you guys. What we do is not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. It's just about relationships and getting the job done. So even though, and you think, I'm magnetic, I'm friendly, think about things like your body language, how you're smiling or not smiling. I will tell you, if you're doing open houses and you're worried about selling that house, you're not doing it right. You need to be selling yourself. And how you sell yourself is not I'm the best. It's, oh my gosh, I see your kid plays soccer. My kid plays soccer. Where do you play soccer at? Find a point of commonality with anyone in an open house. That's what I did the first 3.5 years of my career. That's what built my business. I had no lead generation. Moderate sized sphere because I just moved back. And I will tell you, it works really well. And if you disarm people and get their trust, that's what they want to know first. Then go sell them the house. And I think it helps to, I picked up a couple clients in open just talking about new construction by saying, I don't care if you use me as your agent, but use somebody. Don't just go in and use a builder's agent. Sorry to anybody who reps a builder. Because that is when I have families who are builders, and I would want my own representation if I was building with them. There's just a lot of stuff to keep track of. So you gain their trust by saying that. You're not trying to shove yourself down their throat. So there's 10 keys. I pulled up a lot of stuff that was on magnetic versus repellent personalities. And I know it sounds like it might be trite, but it really, every agent I've made that makes it, and I've had a couple on my team who don't, I usually know within a week. It's how they receive constructive criticism or advice, being open-minded to suggestions, and then these following things here. Authentic, be sincere, be real about who you are and what you have to offer. Don't try to be something you're not. If you haven't ever done new construction, don't say, I'm the best, Just be real, be honest, and people appreciate that. I know Tanner is on my team, and he's a little younger, but really sharp, but he's understood that some people who are older just aren't going to use him. They're just not. He's embraced it. He'll take my cards with him and give them my card too. And I'm like, he's brilliant. That's so smart, because it's better to get half of a sale than no sale at all, right? So there's things like that. Just be aware of how people receive you, and clients that you may or may not be able to relate to or may not just be your fan. I've had, I'm sure, men who won't use me because I'm not a guy. There's just, that stuff is going to come up. It just is what it is. Confidence, exude a belief in yourself, and nothing is too difficult to handle. So if you don't have the answer, say, I'll go get it. you don't need to say, oh, I think it's this, because that's how you get yourself in trouble in this business. Eloquent, it's not what you say, but how you say it. You want to reveal genuine emotions through your voice. Like when they're talking about themselves, listen. When you ask them the question about their kids, listen. I try on my open house sheet to write down their kids' names and the husband's name after they've stepped away because I cannot remember. And then when I send them an email, I say, the next day or that night, I say, so great meeting you. Little Georgie was so cute, you have a lovely family. Things like that can go a long way when you're following up on open houses. Energetic, people become enthusiastic when they're around a high energy individual. And I feel like it's contagious. So even if you're having a horrible day or you don't feel well, and that's something that I deal with a lot, you just need to just do your best to be happy that you're here, that you're in this business, that you can make substantially more than someone else putting in the same amount of hours if you just do the work. I don't know of any other business where you can make $10,000 a day, not have to have, a degree in medicine or anything like that. So it's pretty amazing to be able to do what we do. Motivational, inspire others through charm and charisma. I'm still working on that. So Heather has a lot of it. But it's so true. And like I said, there's been a couple people that have, we've tried on the team, and right away, I always call it the wet blanket effect. They're so you walk in and you kind of feel that, don't be that person. Smile, greet other people. Nothing is that serious. I know Vince always says there's no emergencies in real estate. I have to tell myself that a lot. Heather probably has to remind me of that more than I remind myself. Because, and when I need help, no matter how much volume I do, I am always asking questions. I know Heather knows that. If you stop learning or you stop thinking that you have questions and you know it all, you're going to be in trouble. So there's just always things to learn. An active listener, as we've talked about before, look, repeat, focus on your client. That's so important. It says, I heard you. It also helps you to remember their names. I've learned if I repeat their name back to them, it sticks in my head a little bit better than if I didn't. Well-versed. Increase your knowledge to make an impact on others. Speak with authority about any issues that arise. I know one of the things I've done with some of the younger people on my team is, especially because they do a lot in Midtown, we talk about architectural features and details. Like Tanner now knows what dental molding is. He knows why there's a gap between the crown molding and old houses, because that's how they used to hang pictures, because you don't want to put a nail into lap and plaster walls. Little things like that make you sound so well-versed and educated in your field. And then age for him or me, if I'm with a young couple, doesn't become an issue. You're an expert in that area. So know your neighborhoods, know things about architecture, learn what kind of columns those are. There's great places to pull up those kinds of resources. And I don't know if you guys ever watch $1 Million Listing ever. It's the only shows I ever watch on TV. But the young guy that's out in California, he has a degree in architecture, and he knows everything about every architectural detail. And I think clients appreciate that, and the higher price point you go, the more that will buy you. Just knowing basic, even construction stuff. When I walk through a house, I'll point out if it's a silent E-joist, if there's spray-in or batten insulation above the sill plate in the basement. Little things like that are huge. And just a little bit of research and reading can help you come across as a subject expert, and that's what you want to be. So because I had some experience in construction when I ran malls, that's helped me to translate it to this. But anyone can learn those things. Ask to go with a builder and have him explain to you, how do you tell if it's a high efficiency furnace? There's 2 white pipes coming out of it. So you say to your client, oh, that's a high efficiency furnace. Most of them don't know how you determine that. So just little things like that as you walk through the home. So you're fun and you're smiling, but you're also really smart and you're knowledgeable about the product that they're looking at. And I think that's really, really beneficial to anyone. Optimistic, a positive outlook is attractive to others. That's absolutely true, especially we're, as you know, in the beginning of a market correction. And you don't want to tell people, oh my God, it's horrible out there. Oh my God, I can't sell a house. If anybody asks you, you are busy. You are always busy, okay? So you're busy because that you don't want to freak them out. They go, I definitely shouldn't sell my house now. There's no buyers, I can't sell it. Imaginative, magnetic leaders invest in creativity sparked by an open mind to new approaches. And I think that is huge. We do some things on our team that we'll get into here that are a little different. They're kind of a mandatory requisite to be on my team, but it works. We're a very small team, but there's like 3.5 of us, and we're at like 30 million, so we're like, when we get that rank, we're like, wow, how did we do that? So we know it's working. So when you find something that works, definitely stick to it. A sense of humor. I think I've got this one down. You need to be able to laugh about yourself in the situations. Don't have to be funny or witty, if you weren't born that way, but you should be able to see the humor in life and business. This is why I'm a huge proponent of being on a team. If I wasn't on a team, I think I would have had a heart attack probably years ago, because it's so nice to close your door, hang up the phone, and be like, and have someone else, the first question I'll ask somebody, if you're going to be on my team, is, are you offended by cursing? Because it's going to happen. That's just who we are. We close the door, and you have to vent. You have to get it out, because there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in this business. I remember one year that we were losing people because of the stress. They were having heart attacks. And as someone with a health issue myself that affects my heart, I'm really aware of that. I see how my body reacts when I'm stressed, and so it's legit. People think, oh, you're just a realtor, but I'm here to tell you, it's the hardest job I've ever done. And when I ran malls, I thought nothing will be harder. Especially like when I was at North Star in San Antonio, we had 300 tenants, and no one's ever going to be happy about anything. And I'm the one that had to hand out the holiday hours, and they're like, they want to kill you. Okay, I thought nothing would be worse. You were on call 24/7. I've handled gang shootings, rapes, burglaries. I had to go on TV and talk about it. I thought nothing could be more stressful than that. I was wrong. So, and I know I took an ethics class with Dean Ewing, and he made a really good point about how people who are attorneys and real estate agents really aren't respected. And the reason of that is because people respect like a nurse. My sister's a nurse. Because when people are around my sister, she's a transport nurse for Children's Hospital, they're in an amazingly vulnerable position, right? They're counting on this person to help them. When we're with people, especially people who like to be in control, they're out of control, and it terrifies them, and they will lash out. So the best thing to do when you're with that character type is say, I know you're the kind of person that likes to have your ducks in a row and be in control of the situations. I'm married to someone like that, truly. He's a retired Air Force officer. So I get it. I totally get it, and I respect that. I'm just asking you to trust me, because this is going to be a difficult process for your personality type. And it's a great personality type. I married one, but this is going to be difficult for you. And I think when you say that, they're like, okay, she's right. Because it's so true. And that's why they don't like us a lot of times, because they think that we're in control of things that they should be, which is not exactly the case, but that's how they feel. And so if something goes wrong, we all know, even if it's with their lender, who's going to get blamed? We are. So that's something to always keep in mind for sure. I put in here to surround yourself with people that possess these qualities. Listen, learn, and apply. Combine these with the traits of a strong agent. In the research I did online and just in life, persistence, tenacity, and competitiveness. I love to be around other people just that are friendly, competitive. I tell anyone on my team, I would love for you to beat me one year. Let's do this. I love that because it keeps me going too. You build a strong, loyal sphere of influence too. My sphere now is people I met at open houses 6 years ago. So, and it's so true. They say about 5 years into the business, all of a sudden your phone will start ringing. People will be asking you to list houses. And that is absolutely 100% true. It was like clockwork. About 5 years, all of a sudden I'm like, hey, this is awesome. So your phone does start ringing. So what we did, the second part of that, besides being magnetic or repellent and building your business. And it's not, if someone says you're repellent, it's not a bad thing. 70% of people are repellent. It's just paying attention to how your voice comes across, your body language, or your arms crossed. Are you open to hearing them? Doing research about nonverbal communication is really interesting as well. You send signs whether you know it or not, and there might be something you can't control. Like for me, it's like my size. So you want to disarm other people, make them feel comfortable around you. So the second point is finding and building upon your point of differentiation. So this kind of goes back to my real estate background. And when I was on a team, I knew I kind of wanted to do something different. And I love being on a team. I like the camaraderie, and I didn't want to be by myself, and I needed to have backup, and I like that system. I'm a people person. I don't want to just sit at home alone. I literally live across the street. Like, I could walk here if I wasn't so lazy. And I just thought, I would just like to be around other people. I come in here just to have, camaraderie. So what we did, did you get them? Okay, perfect. So some of these, this is an old one. We're redoing this now into a book, which I forgot to bring the cover up. But this is the cover of our book, the front and back. So you can go through these two. And then there's some dummy pages in here, sorry. And you can go past our bios. We did this at the beginning. And then go past that one. So these are the shots of the houses we take. We use a certain photographer. They look good, and whether some people say, I don't like night shots. Well, you know what? You might not like them, but our listings on Zillow average over 3 times the average views than the average listing in the Omaha area. So whether you like it or not, it catches someone's attention because it looks different. We don't do it for everything, but we do it for, I'd say, about 80% of our listings if time allows. And then here is the front page. So this is a house that was actually listed with a great agent here. That's their picture on the top left. Nothing's wrong with that picture. There's ours on the bottom right. And then the next page is going to show you what we do. This is what we do that makes it different. So we're changing the layout right now because I learned through some listing appointments it's kind of hard to explain to people. But the top row of each section is the before and the second is the after. My clients agreed to paint 2 rooms and to give me $1,000 to change light fixtures, and then we did the rest. So you'll see that dining room there. The dining room and this office were the first 2 rooms when you walked in. This is Elkhorn. The house is only 10 years old, but in Elkhorn, it's dated. So we changed it to the gray walls. That's my furniture. We bought those lights, my artwork, and then down in the office, you can see here, you had the yellow. And we did this down here. We did the gray, of course, and we just brought in some furniture. We neutralized it. It had way too much personal stuff, and it felt there's a lot of brown wood in this house. And at this time in West Omaha, people really, really love their white and gray. So that we knew we needed to look more like new construction, and it didn't look like new construction. So we just changed that out. They packed it up. And we go back up to here on the top one. The kitchen is simple. All we did up there is change those lights from brown because we got all the brown cabinets, and we put in the clear glass, bigger. And then over in the hearth room, which you can hardly see, they've got like an oversized kind of college chair. We put in some nice tailored chairs. Master bedrooms, I hate ceiling fans. If I could have like a web page that was anti-ceiling fan, which most men then want to like shoot me when I say that, but they don't sell houses. And I challenge you to go to some of the highest end homes and you're not going to find a ceiling fan. So, but you can put that approach into a $100,000 home and it still works. Reason being is, and this is kind of goes back to retail, 97% of the time, if you have a couple, the woman is going to be the final decision maker. And they may not know why they like something, and it's our job to determine why they like it. And I am telling you that light fixtures give you that factor that sells houses, okay? And you can see the difference between those 2 pictures. We even use the same bed and the same linen in that house. We put 2 lamps on the side, the light fixture, and in that back corner, we put an adult-looking chaise versus a kind of futon thing that they had there. And then over here, we didn't do anything in this room except rearrange the furniture and change out the light fixture, and it looks like a different room. And then doing backyards at night just creates that look of a place that you'd like to be. So we ended up, it took 4 offers to get it sold, but over the holiday season, it was on the market previously for 7 or 8 months, no offers. We were able to sell it, I think it took, I want to say 3 months, and we had 4 different offers. and finally sold it there. So, and it's in a tough neighborhood. I have some listings in this area, Pacific Point. And then if you go down, let's see the next one. So this house actually was owned briefly by my son. This is the before picture. This is our after. He only owned it for 6 months, and we were able to turn a profit. He walked away with cash in his pocket, and I made him pay me. I don't work for free for anybody, including my son. So, and I'll show you what we did here to the next on the next page. So you can see here, there's something about cream-colored furniture that just works. You don't want to live with it. Maybe if you don't have any little kids or dogs, but but it sells furniture. And do I know that some of my furniture is going to get beat up and gross? Yes. That's called the cost of doing business. So it's just something that you have to embrace. But the difference between these are huge. We painted the cabinets white, changed out some light fixtures, and staged the first floor and also the basement down here. We took a sunroom that had old, like asbestos-y tile. It was brown. It looked more like a drop zone. And we actually painted the floor gray. We painted the walls white. And it became actual living space then, which added a little bit of square footage to the house as well. And just the difference in the backyard pictures are huge. So multiple offers. And he, like I said, he owned it for 6 months and walked away with a profit, which is crazy. And let's see the next one. Oh, yeah. The guy who, oh, yeah. The worst deal of my life. Let's just put it that way. This is a house that was on the market for like 2 or so months with another agent. And this is their front picture. This is ours. The hugest deal to me here, besides it looks bigger and better, is the driveway looks like a skeet slope in the first picture, which is a kiss of death in Nebraska. And it's not. It's almost flat. This is a zero entry home. So sometimes it's just the vantage point of the photographer and having someone that knows what to do there. This is a house. This is one I did 3 years ago. I've now sold these people 3 houses since then. They like to move. But I didn't have a lot of furniture then, but what we did do is just move around what they had and bring in light fixtures, and I'll show you that here on the next one.
Who do you use for your night shots?
We will tell you, but we have to kill you. No, we use Yale, which a lot of people do, but there's plenty of people. Craig Fulkerson does it. Yeah, Craig Fulkerson is probably a little more affordable and available. I've used him a lot. The first half of my collection was him. Yale books up really far in advance, so sometimes we've had to go back and use Craig as well, but he does a good night shot as well. So this is a house that we did not bring any furniture in. We did change the bedding. See how different that all white bedding looks? When people walk in and see white furniture that's clean and white bedding that's clean, they make an unconscious assumption that you are meticulous, even if you are not. So, and those are parts of the things that kind of came from retail. You know, when you go into white spaces in retail, it just feels polished and clean and pristine, and you can take those theories and apply them here. Again, a nightstand, we have nice white drum shades. We changed it out from a ceiling fan to a chandelier. And in here, this room on the top in the middle, their great room, has a gorgeous coffered ceiling in a ceiling fan. And we went ahead and made sure that coffered ceiling fit in the photo, and then we put a chandelier in as well. Again, we made much bigger, substantial light fixtures over in a huge island. The other ones were too small and dark. And then here, this is just photography. That's just a difference in photographers. And up here, you can see they had tons of family pictures. They were 30 feet from the TV. We pulled it up, we neutralized it, we made other areas like for gaming and stuff in there. And the backyard on the first picture does not look inviting at all. And we did that there. We actually sold that one, I want to say just in a few weeks, and we had 2 different offers. And they said they had more showings the first day that they had in the months before with the previous agent. And it's not that those agents are doing anything wrong. That's the key here. But what are we doing different? What makes us different? What's our point of differentiation? Let me see what the next one is. Some of the stuff, yeah, keep going through that one and past the next one. Okay, this one here is Timber Drive. I still can't believe I sold it for what I did. So it had some golden oak, and so this was the picture, this was our picture, and then go down below. Again, this is the value of this for just photography up there. Bedding, chandelier, getting rid of that oversized furniture in a master. making the space to the right look not so dark and like it has a purpose. Here again in the dining room, boy, 10 years ago, I had one too. A red dining room. We put modern light fixture, painted it. There's our furniture. You'll see it over and over again. And then the backyard again, looking more inviting at night, lit up. It just looks like a place you'd want to be. And I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but I know when someone's going to write on a home when they sit down and they want to stay. And so you want to create that environment for them for sure. Let's see if I have any other ones in here. I think I have a couple, not that one. Let's see. Okay, this is just one. This is a builder's home. He tried to sell that on his own and he couldn't. And it still holds the record for the most expensive home sold in West Bay Woods too. And I'll show you on the next page what we did. So we went in and helped stage this one. I had him change out his dining room furniture. It was something kind of heavy and manly. It's all brown wood, which was his problem. And we put in that kind of ethereal light fixture with the globes. And it just, when you walked in the front door and you saw that, that was what we call, that's our money shot. It was just stunning. And when you saw it full on your screen, it's huge. Again, we brought in a lot of cream colors to offset all the dark woods. He ended up getting multiple offers on this and it went over asking. So it just goes to show you that just making that emotional connection with someone, usually the woman, sorry, when you want to have them walk in and be like, oh, I think that's all we have in there. Let's see. That's it. Okay. So now as far as how do we do that? Like how do you go get the furniture to stage a house like that? I started out small. Like first I was just using their stuff and then I had one storage unit and we had like 3 living rooms and we were rotating them constantly. And then we grew and grew. Now we probably have about 75,000 in staging furniture. And I have a licensed interior designer that works for our team in stages, and we're actually looking to add a second one too, just to keep up with it. Because I used to stage, and this is the other advice I would tell you: don't try to do everything on your own. That means paperwork, staging. As much as I thought I know how to do this, you have to let go. Train someone else to do it. Tanner now knows how to stage. Maggie's learning how to stage. Shelly knows how to stage. Learn what works, but don't deviate from your plan. And sometimes it's tempting. You're like, oh, that dark brown leather sofa looks okay. I know that it's not going to look as good in a picture as one of those sofas. So keep your furniture there. This year we just bought a trailer so we can move it easily. And then we have a few movers. One of them is my son, but we have some other people that will move for us as well. It takes time to get to that place. You don't want to do it overnight. You want to do it as you're selling houses and then reinvest that money back into yourself. So regardless of what you're doing, whether it's lead generation or you're staging, take some of those funds and invest them back into yourself. I think one of the biggest issues with people who don't make it is this is truly a business that you have to spend money to make money. And whether it starts out as a $10 bottle of wine, Heather shared with us a success story from another agent, and immediately we put it into play. And Tanner's under contract on a $264,000 house because he took advice from Heather and bought a $10 bottle of wine for people from an open house. It really does work. So just always never be so proud that like, oh, we know what we're doing. We have great volume. We don't need any advice. Be always like, oh, that's awesome. Let's try that too. And you'll be surprised. And then whatever you find that works for you, invest in that. Whether it's the pop buys or stop buys or a client party. We're doing one on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I've done it every year for 8 years, even before I was a realtor, but people don't know that. So it's our 8th annual party, and we have shopping at my house. We now get a valet company to park the cars. We cater it in. It's still substantially cheaper than if I was going to go to an outside venue. And what we've really learned and we feel strongly about is that people who attend it say it's so much fun. They feel relaxed. They're sitting on your couch. They're in your basement at your bar having a drink. They don't feel like you're walking into, like a hall at like Shadow Ridge or something. It's personal. And you're saying you're part of my family. You're in my sphere. So, you have a question?
Yeah. Do you take out their existing furniture or
Yeah. So what we do, depending on the situation. Here's the deal. Nobody cares about garages if they're nice and tidy. Move it to the garage. But I do try to get people to get pods. The first question I ask them, though, is, are you keeping this when you move to your next house? And a lot of them will be like, oh, no. And then I'm like, sell it now. And I go, are you going to buy new furniture? When you go, well, yeah, well, let's buy it now. So sometimes you can get them, but then sometimes that can backfire if they buy something ugly. But I did that at the very beginning. Like, I would try to say, if you're going to buy new furniture, don't wait for your next house. Use it to help sell your current house. So that's what you could do now if you don't have staging furniture. And it's a good question to ask. If you're not going to use that furniture at your new house, first let's get rid of it. Let's sell it on a buy, sell, trade site, and you can help them do that if they don't know how. And were you going to buy something new? What were you going to buy? Want me to help you? And we go to Rush Market a lot and Mrs. B's. Those are kind of our go-to. And I will tell you, if you want to go to Rush Market, ask for Mary Beth. They will actually, if you're a realtor, they will let you in when it's not open. We're meeting with them on Monday. They want to know what they can do to help other realtors and kind of get more business. But they'll deliver stuff for $50. Which is nice, and they'll deliver it to our storage unit, so it saves me time. I'm hiring a mover because I can't get a mover for, not even my son, for $50. So I think that's a good question to ask, and those are the things I asked when I started. The one thing I do with light fixtures, and this is kind of key. Now, Rush Market, we've been able to get our hands on light fixtures for like $40, $50, up to like $200-ish. I will ask them, I'm going to bring in the staging furniture at no cost to you whatsoever. I'm going to pay for the stager. I'm going to pay for the movers. I'm going to pay for the furniture. I would like to change a few of your light fixtures. Is there a budget that you'd be comfortable with? And I know in my head kind of what I'm going to need. The most important fixtures, though, is everything you see when you first walk in. So usually your living, your dining, kitchen, and the master bedroom. Other than that, don't sweat it. Those are the most important. And then you'll have an idea if you start looking at like Rush and other places, what that, even Menards has great light fixtures now too. Even Menards, go to Menards and get light fixtures. And if you've got a client that like is struggling, like then just replace 2 or 3 of them with a $50 light and eat it. In the end, it's going to get a really loyal client from you. And then ask them if they know how to install a light fixture. If they don't, we have electricians that will do it, and I can share that with anybody. Like, I know both of them charge $55 to install a light. I try to get them to do it, because most people can, but there's probably 10% that can't. Or if it's up high, then you need an electrician too. But yeah, when you're starting and you don't have staging furniture, that's a great thing to say is, are you keeping all this furniture when you move to the new place? And if they say, no, we're going to sell it all. And you'd be surprised why people say that. A huge percentage say that. Well, are you going to buy new stuff for the new house? Would it fit in this house? Well, let's use that to get more money for your current house. Why wait? Let's make an extra $5,000, $10,000. And by the way, research shows that, what they say, if you have good high-end photography, kind of like what we use, you can add 2 to 5% to the sales price. If you add staging to the mix, you can add 10%. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, sorry, I don't know how to turn off an iWatch. I just got it. There we go. I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. I had one particular house in Escalante Hills, and I knew that these young couple, I knew that they had good jobs, so I knew they were probably living beneath their means because they were moving up to a really nice house. I'd sold them over in White Hawk, but they hadn't done anything. We're talking deferred maintenance. All the light fixtures were bad. The carpet was horrible. Stuff everywhere. And I said, how much? And the furnace was bad. I could tell the siding needed repairs. I'm like, how much I got bids on everything. I go, can you guys invest $8,000? 2 other agents had told them it'd be in the 130s. So they had wood floors on the main, which was to their benefit. We painted every wall grayish, and we painted all the golden oak white, including the kitchen. I wish I had these pictures. And we changed out in this house every single light fixture because it had to be, but we sold it for $185,000. So there's $7,000 investment. And people said, is this a flip? Nope, it's not. It wasn't a flip. They lived there forever. So it's not a flip, but sometimes you're actually helping them flip their own houses. So, that's been huge for me, just as far as, I've told Heather, my goal is to start going after listings that aren't coming to me. That's my goal right now, going after stuff, because I feel like I rarely compete anymore because it's coming from referrals. That's a good problem to have, but I still need to not rest on my laurels and get out there and go after some other ones too. And then we share, I think I have that at the end here actually, just I think, oh, maybe I got cut off on here. Yeah, there's one line. So the one thing I would tell you is that this is what I think it's harder for women than men. I learned it probably a year and a half into it. You're going to have to learn how to brag. You're going to have to learn how to be boastful. And I think we've been taught since we were young not to do that. And it was really uncomfortable for me at first. So I think it's imperative that you're not afraid to say, I know I don't want you to use me because you're my family member or my friend, but I want you to use me because I'm really freaking good at this. I'm really good at my job. And when you can say that and look someone in the eyes, I think they respect it. If you're good at your job, I don't think you have a problem telling me that you're good at your job. This is really going to help what we do. We've actually had a couple 8% listings when we did this, and they were in an area of town that didn't have people. I had clients that were buying houses, and no one would give them the time of day because they lived in a certain area of town that a lot of people aren't going after, and they were small listings. And we said, this is not much return. I spend this much. This is what we're going to have to charge. And they were fine with it. They were so happy that someone took that time to do that for them. But we do get a lot of 7%. I know, like, even though our volume is 13th, I think our GCI is 10th. So that is huge. And one thing I took from Deb Isaac had great advice. Don't just drop it to 6. Go to 6.5. Go to 6.25. Don't go to 6. Like, do things in increments. Like I said, my family, with one exception, pays 6%. My father paid me 6%. My brother, though, sold a 600 and bought an 850, so I let him go to 5.75. But I feel like if you offer value, I think my sister-in-law gave me the best compliment I've ever had. She's like, even if I hated you, I would use you as my realtor. And she was a roller derby girl and all that. So when she says stuff like that, that's a really good pat on the back. So you have to feel comfortable in that, but it does make you marketable because you can say straight up, I know that there are 100 agents behind me that will sell your house for 5%, maybe even 4%. I know because I take over their listings when they don't sell. That's huge. And I don't know any other agent, and this is true even now, that spends $1,200 to $1,500 per house before it even hits the MLS. And that is the truth, and I can substantiate that. And so I'm like, so you're in a $200,000 house and you want to save 1%, but I'm already spending 1.5% to get your house on the market. I go, do you think that I can't sell your house for more than $4,000 more than that other agent? Can I show you these pictures again? It works every time. I mean, I'll tell you, like, I rarely don't get a listing. You just have to call it as you see it. And by acknowledging that there are people, by acknowledging that there are people out there that will do it for less, just kind of gets the elephant out of the room, So that's what I would really say that. And I also never go into a listing appointment with a price in my head, because if you walk in and that house smells like cat urine, you are in trouble. So I tell them, any agent worth their salt will not walk in with a price to your house. And I give them that very example. It could smell like smoke. It could smell like cat urine. They could be hoarders. I've had 2 of those, like true A&E hoarders, where you're walking through a corridor and you're like, oh my God. So don't walk in with a price, because that can backfire. Say, I'm going to see your house. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to go back and pull comps and see how the other house is compared to yours now that I've seen it with my eyes. So I don't sign the listing agreement at the actual listing. I'm probably one of the people that don't do that, but I get the comps, and I haven't a few times, but I feel it's worked. So I feel like if you have something solid that gives you that point of differentiation, it works, and they want to work with you. And then I feel like then some of my other clients, like there was one I didn't even think liked me. He's referred me to 3 other people. So you just never know. Some people are harder to read, but if they're happy, they will refer you for sure. I'm trying to think too. Yeah, and we redid it and we sold it. So we hired someone to empty it. We changed the light fixtures. We painted the golden oak. They paid for it all, and it sold. It was. I don't know if I'll do it again, but it sold for $267. It was in Mission Park. Yeah.
What about renting furniture? Do you recommend that to start out, or is that too expensive?
It's too expensive. And I'll be honest with you too, I'm not here to promote ourselves. We do stage for other agents now because people have asked us, will you do it? And we'll do it affordably. I'll do it cheaper than Rearrange for Change, and no offense to them, and I'll do it better. Because I see one of my pet peeves is big green plants. Sure, they're great if you're living there, but in a picture, that's exactly where your eye goes, boom, to that green spot, right? And people tend to move through a space, like in retail, we go from right to left, and that's how our eye sweeps, and we want to stage accordingly. We don't want to have a big green plant somewhere that's going to pull us away from the pretty light fixture and the beautiful furniture and any other positive architectural attributes that home has. So we do stage for other people because it depends. It's by what furniture you use. But honestly, and here's what I'll tell you, just do the kitchen and the living, do the main level. We don't do bedrooms. I have one client now, their house was overpriced. That's a divorce situation. But he says, I want you to stage all my bedrooms. They're small, and people are saying they're too small, and we can show them they're not too small by putting a king-size bed in there. And I'm like, no, I don't stage all those bedrooms. Sometimes I'll stage a master in a big house if it's vacant. I have 1 or 2 beds, but that's it. It's a lot of effort to stage a bedroom. And honestly, by the time they're there, they've already fell in love, if they're gonna fall in love. It's that first initial 5 to 10 seconds when people make their decision, and that's when you wanna have what we call the moment, when you can see it in their face, like they go, then like, okay, they really like it. So yeah, we do stage for other people, and anybody can call me, message me, text me, and I can tell you that if you need something or try it. And sometimes it's as simple, I think we've had people stage with us that only spend $500, and sometimes you can get your clients to pay for it too. If you can show them the return value on it, I think it's huge. But I will tell you, light fixtures are everything. If you see a builder grade light fixture or something in brass, please get it out of the house. And ceiling, and people say, but ceiling fans, they cool me. And I'm like, look, here's what I did. My husband went out of town, and we had a ceiling fan, and he left town, and I put a really pretty chandelier up, and I bought him a Dyson fan, and I sat it next to his bed. And if you needed to get through the night, that's what you do. And they're nice, and they're light, and they're easy. You can hide it behind furniture, okay? It's just, people don't fall in love with function. They fall in love with emotions, and you want things to look crisp and clean and polished. The other rule of thumb, when you walk through a room, like in a bedroom, I don't want anything touching the floor unless it's a bed, a nightstand, or a bureau. No Target furniture. Like the one I showed you that was in Pacific Point, there was a lot of other rooms, but the girls' bedroom had one of those cubey things. This is a $550,000 house. No. Get it out. So we changed all the bedding on the kids' beds, no rainbows. Patterns are not good either. So if you have, unless it's a simple arabesque or something, do not do crazy pattern rugs. And if they're on wood floors, get them out. The only time we use rugs is in a bigger room, a small white flataki, which also says we're clean, and we don't want to cover those wood floors. We want them to show off. White drum shades on lights are huge. One thing we've learned a lot about is light bulbs. Do not put in curly Q light bulbs because I'll come and get you. And I would go with LED for sure because they have new ones that are great. If the bulbs show, spend the money to get the kind where you see the filament. It looks great. And tell them, leave your lights on. Don't touch that lamp. Leave that lamp on all month. Until your house sells, leave the lamp on. It's an LED bulb. It's not going to overheat. So we have bulk light bulbs, lamps, light fixtures. And when I find a good deal on light fixtures, I buy them in bulk and I keep them in my storage area. And then I actually walk in the house and I think, okay, I know what's going to go here. Also, don't put in bright white, put in soft white. 2,700 to 3,000 lumen will give you your best pictures. A 5,000 lumen, which is what my husband prefers, will make you look really bad in pictures. And it just is too bright. It's operating room level, right? So we've all seen those houses. And make sure they match. And your clients are going to think you're being picky, but then again, you go back to the photos. Look, here to here to here. And if we're staging a house for someone, we allow them to use our before and afters because it's going to be our work and we use that. And obviously you've already signed a listing agreement. No one's ever had an issue using us. We're not going to go try to steal someone's listing. Someone asked me that once and I'm like, seriously? It's already under contract, under listing agreement when we do that. So I think, and we can send our designer. I think it's just, we just figured, we were asked by so many people, we're like, why not? If we have extra, we'll do it. But you can buy furniture cheaper than you can rent it. Renting is a waste of money. And here's the other deal. If y'all are doing it right, you've made yourself an LLC or PC or S Corp or whatever it is, it's a tax write-off, and the furniture will get you depreciation. So that is huge, and it saves me a ton. So it's a great business investment as well. So just food for thought there. You need to think of everything you do as, being able to write it off. And when you've got all these storage units and furniture, it can scare you, the numbers, but if you start doing volume, you're gonna need those write-offs desperately. So it is a great place to get write-offs for sure.
Do you do your own before pictures, or do you still?
Yeah, and we're working on being better at that. Sometimes we just forget to take them, but we do take them with our cell phones. And then if another agent had it, we'll pull them off, and use those. But we'll walk through and take pictures with our cell phone. So if we don't have that, we do it. And those look really bad. So the before and afters are really good on the ones we take with our cell phone, for sure. Yeah. Any other questions?
Oh, we got one in the back, Roxanne.
Who was the first photographer that you mentioned?
Yale.
Yale?
Yeah.
Like Y-A-L-E?
Y-A-Y-L-E. But I will tell you guys, he is slam. So we've been using Craig Fulkerson again a lot. If you need to get something on quick and you can't book it out a month in advance or 2 to 3 weeks in advance, it's very difficult because a lot of people are using him. So, and honestly, if you find a decent photographer, like the interior shots, those are so much about using the right light bulbs. We change them out, staging, just taking them from a good perspective and everything. That you can affect that greatly. But you have to be able to do something, if it's not this, something else that allows you to say, this is why you're going to pay me more than this person, and I'm going to do a better job. And right now, it's not even so much I'll sell your house for more, but maybe it will just get your house sold versus not sold. Because they'll say, can you add that to the value? Will I get that back? Well, I don't know, but we're going to sell it instead of not selling it, which is a crappy option. So
You do staging consultations?
we do. So we also, you mean for other people or for our people? For other people, absolutely, yeah. We'll do where we send our designer out and she'll just talk, and I can do them as well, so can Tanner. We've all learned what we do. And it goes against the grain. Even like my stager, they learn things in school that I'm like, no, don't do that. Like I said, the patterns, the plants, don't do place settings at the table. It's busy work for the eye. When people are looking at a thumbnail, keep it simple. Creams, neutrals, light, no dark, heavy, oversized furniture, please. And then just light and airy and bright. And we use a lot of like tchotchkes that are like woods, metals, golds and silvers. I'm really happy that actually gold's coming back in because it looks good in photos. Brush gold is super hot with light fixtures. Not shiny gold, you guys.
Not the brass.
Brush gold. That's brass. Brush gold. That's, in fact, if you like, there's a lot of houses. Yes, it looks great. Yeah.
What was that first word you said? Something gold?
Brush gold.
Before, I thought you said something before that.
What's the goal?
Oh, tchotchke. Tchotchkes means. I don't know where I picked that word up. Nick, thank you. Knick-knack.
Oh, okay.
Knick-knacks, yeah. It means knick-knacks.
So I can stick with brush.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tchotchkes work really good if you've got a dark, like think about it, if you have a dark bookcase, put bright white items there, and you don't need a lot. Bright white items. Go to Home Goods. You can buy them in bulk. Marshalls, TJ Maxx, at home. Just buy a bunch of white stuff. Like start buying white art. You'll see in our pictures, like that horse. It's so past. We're trying to save it. The canvas is warped, but it photographs well. I mean, I actually, my minor's in art, and that's what I was going to do with my life, but it doesn't really pay well. I realized that I could probably go make some canvases with some blobby lines in the middle, and they would look great, but mostly white artwork. So take everything off your walls. No religious symbols, no pictures of your kids, and that's also for safety, because we all know there's freaks out there. Nothing personal. This is a funny story. The one time I let someone leave pictures of their kids up. It was a try, and the pictures were on like that wall that were right above where you look down to the family room, and they were gorgeous black and whites of their kids. And like, do we really have to take them down? And I'm like, no, it's okay. Go ahead and leave them up. So I'm showing the house to this guy, and he goes, I want it. We sit down at the kitchen table, and we're writing the offer, hand to God. And he looks up and he goes, do the Robs live here? And I go, yeah. And he goes, oh my God, she's my boss. He goes, I can't buy this. That's just too weird. So yeah, that's too weird. So that's another reason. I find that more in Elkhorn and Midtown, where the communities are really know everybody. There are people who won't look at a house because they find out it's somebody's house they don't like. I've had that happen a couple times. Yeah, I don't want to buy their house. I don't like them. I'm like, why do you need to like them? You need to like the house, you know. But again, that goes back to people make emotional decisions and they want good energy and good mojo, you know. So that is huge. Get everything personal off the walls. You get their kids' awards down. Nothing taped to the wall. Nothing pinned to the wall. Teenage rooms, kids' rooms, everything off. Bring in one piece of cute art. That's it. Nothing else. You know, and you can get art so cheap, like at Rush and these other places that we're mentioning, so cheap. Light art is good. You don't want heavy art, just little nails. You can hang them quickly and carry them. They don't get busted up. We learned quickly that heavy stuff stinks, but unfortunately for me, like when I have a 850 right now with a really nice couch in it, and my movers hate me because it's so heavy, but it's hard to find cheap that looks rich, so sometimes they're just going to have to suck it up. So and move the heavy furniture. Yeah.
Any other last minute questions for Dianne? Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever have problems when you get your furniture back, either missing or like in bad shape?
Yeah, absolutely. Just had it happen. Again, it's the cost of doing business, but knowing that I can buy a couch for $400 or $500, how much did I make off that listing? Right? Does it cut into my profit margin? Maybe, but it's the cost of doing business and maybe the reason that I got that listing in the first place. So I ask people if they can be respectful. You try to, can you just throw over it when you're sitting on it, or if you have kids or pets or whatever, but not as often as you would think. I think most people try pretty hard. It's great when it's vacant. For sure.
All right. Thank you, Dianne. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so in your guys' packet, we've got the homework sheet for you, making sure you're doing your time blocking, your calls, meeting with your accountability partner, and then this week I'm asking you guys to implement one new thing that you've learned in one of these 5 weeks. I don't care what it is, don't do it all, just pick one and see if it will help you or get you someplace else that you're not doing, or something that you're not already doing. So, admin tip of the week, help keeping them organized. That's in there as well. I'm not going to read it all. You guys can read it because I'm keeping you guys late. And then today's words of wisdom. The best way to gain self-confidence is to do what you're afraid to do. So I'm afraid as hell to get in front of all of you guys, but you guys are helping me with my self-confidence and making me feel more comfortable at what I'm doing. And then the last thing, I always talk shit about my kids. So if you guys want to see my daughter, that's my Finley. And she is bold and she is confident, but she is also my why. So that's why I get up and do what I do and get out of my comfort zone and dream so big, because I want to make sure I give her a great life. So thank you.